Hey guys, welcome back to the hangar. My name is Sam, and in today's episode, we're talking power kits. Everything you ever wanted to know about our power kits here at the hangar, we're gonna cover them. Let's go. Hey guys, welcome back to the hangar. It has been a hot minute since we last put out a video, or you've really heard anything from us, that's for sure. Okay, so before we get into the meat of this episode, which is power kits and all about the HRC Power Kits, I have a few items of housekeeping we need to do. The first item is, it has been a hot minute since we have released anything, since we've released any videos or done much. For the most part, man, it's been a while. So if you're a first timer here, welcome. We appreciate you joining us. If you've been a long-time subscriber of ours, hey, welcome back. We really enjoy having you. We really enjoy interacting with you. We are posting a lot more to our community tab now. Probably some of you long-term subscribers have seen that. So we're trying to engage with you guys more. We're doing our best. Just wanted to give you an update before we jump into the meat of this episode. Second item of housekeeping is I want to extend a warm welcome to the students at Utah State University and the students of Utah State University Extension who are joining us, watching this video. We've partnered with Utah State University Extension and are donating a lot of kits and electronics to their program, their aviation and aeronautical design programs, so that those students can have the experience they need in building airfoils, learning how airplanes work, and everything they need to be successful in this wonderful world of aviation. So once again, welcome Utah State. We appreciate you being here and look forward to working with you guys in the future. Today we're going to talk power kits. We're going to cover our basic power kits and kind of what's in them. We're going to show you what's in them. We're going to show you all the components that are in our power kits. So we're going to talk about the motors that are in them, servos, the ESCs, all the little extras you get with your power kits, and props. So we're gonna fill you in on power kits, and that's what we're doing today, talking power kits. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the episode. This is a freshly put together power kit. Obviously it doesn't have the labeling right now or the packaging. When you receive your power kits, it will be shrink wrapped and it will have a nice label on it. Most of our airframes fly off very similar power kits. We understand in the design process, and as we get bigger airframes or smaller airframes, we cannot continue to have the power kits with all similar type of electronics. But for the most part, our airframes are park flyers, which means they are very much very well suited, if you will, for our specific power kits and the size of motor and the size of ESC and what size batteries we recommend. So most park flyer airframes range in size as far as wingspan goes from anywhere from about 35, 40 inches all the way up to around 60, 65 inches. Once you get above 60 or 65 or below about 30, 35, 40, they're no longer considered park size. I would consider them more large and maybe micros. Although you can fly micros and potentially some large airframes in like a smaller park setting, but most of our airframes are suited for that park size or the school size setting, where your flying field is at your local school or at a park, a community park. Most of our airframes are suited for that. They range between the 40 and 60 inch wingspan size. So that being said, let's talk about our power kits here, right? So like I said, this is an unopened power kit. It's just barely got produced. I just pulled it off the shelf. Let's open it up. So they come in the box, open them up, and you'll notice right off the bat, the first thing you notice is you have 3 props. Each one of our power kits comes with 3 props. We do that because we know you're going to break them. You're going to have to replace them. We want to give you a couple extra hours of flight with a couple extra props, especially for those of you who are learning. So every single one of our power kits comes with 3 props. Now, Our props typically are 947, but you can drop to a 945 with this specific power setup. If any of you have listened to the Aviation RC Noob podcast, they have a great episode. Don't quote me on what it is. I'll put a link up there. We'll put a link up there to that episode or to their website so you can find them and go back and listen. But basically, the 9.4 is the diameter of the prop and the 7 is the pitch. So these props are slow fly props, and that means that they don't have that sharp of a pitch. They're not going to cut or bite through the air that well. But once again, if you're interested more about all about props and how they work, I'll link to the Aviation RC Noob podcast right up here, and you can go find that episode and learn more and all about props. Okay. On a quick note, props are going to vary from kit to kit. So our manufacturer, depending on what kind of plastic beads they have for the injection molding, they vary from a red to black to blue to white. You know, it just depends on what we get, you know. And the other thing to know about props is you may get a right hand or a left hand prop or a combination of both. That is very easily solved, and we'll talk about it a little bit later, by flipping one of your two wires from your motor to your ESC. There's 3 of them, and that will solve which way your prop rotates. Now, a lot of people will say, well, what about if I have a counter-rotating motor or a counter-rotating prop and the prop nut goes on right-hand turn when you're turning left? I'll be honest, in all the 7 years plus, 10 years plus I've been flying, I've never had one prop come off because it was flying right hand or left hand with a only right threaded motor or a left threaded motor. So probably doesn't matter. I know in the comments below people are going to tell me it does, but if you have an opinion, put it down there. I'd love to hear from you and correct me if I'm wrong. I know a lot of people may disagree with me, but I've never had a problem. But if you disagree, put it down in the comments. I'd love to have a little conversation about it and get your opinion and your feelings why you disagree. But I've never had a problem with them. So anyway, so you'll see your props here. The next thing you're going to see 4 servos. Now, we used to sell plastic gear servos. We do not sell them anymore. They weren't worth our time. We always ended up stripping them out. So every single servo that we sell that's a 9 gram is a metal gear servo. And you can see I'm pulling this out just a little bit so you can kind of see it. We'll pull them out of the package and show you. They're a 9 gram servo, metal geared, digital servo, and this particular kit is for a 4-channel airframe, and then we know it's 4-channel because there's 4 servos here. The next thing you'll see in this kit is your motor, and I'm just going to go ahead and pull this out right now because it's just sitting there. This motor is a 2212 1400 kV motor, or a 2212 10 turn or 10T 1400 kV motor. Now, a lot of you are asking, what does the kV mean, or what does the 2212 mean? The 10T, once again, means 10 turns. That's how many coils of metal are on each stator in this motor. Once again, correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments, but again, I want to reference you to the Aviation RC Noob podcast. They have a great beginner series on it, and they have a whole, I think it's a 2.5-hour episode on motors, brushless versus brushed. Go check them out. So the 2212 is the height of the motor itself. So from the back of it to the height of the stator, I can't remember exactly, but it's a height here of the motor, the height of the bell, that's what it is. And the 1400 kV is the way you can look at that is like revolutions per minute or revolutions per volt in this case, right? RPM. So like your car has an RPM gauge, the 1400 kV is 1400 revolutions per kilovolt. Okay, does that make sense? If you have any questions, leave us a comment down below. We'll do our best to answer them. Next, moving on with the motors. All of our airframes currently, except for one, run off the 2212 1400 kV motor. The next thing you're going to see in our kit is an ESC, or electronic speed controller. This happens to be a 30 amp. Most of our airframes, once again, except for one, run off a 30 amp ESC. This ESC has a battery eliminator circuit built in. Most ESCs do, some do not, which means you have to have a separate BEC or battery eliminator circuit separate from your ESC or electronic speed controller. On this side, you've got technically 3 wires sticking out, but one of the wires has 3 poles on it, and I'll explain what those do. You've got a positive side and negative side. They're 12 volt systems. They run off 12 volt current. Then they have, on this other side of the ESC, you have A, B, and C, or 3 wires that come out for your different motors. Those are the 2 wires I was talking about earlier that you want to switch if your motor is turning the wrong way. Underneath all this that we've talked about, and we'll open this up so you can see it, you'll find a goodie bag. Your goodie bag is right here. In this goodie bag, let's set this aside, you will have things such as your prop adapters. They look like this. They are plastic. They go inside your prop to adapt it to the different kind of, or different sizes, I guess, of motor shafts and prop nuts. Okay? So you got 3 of those. You won't use all of them. They make really good barbecue skewer, anti-barbecue skewer pull-outs, so strips outs, or when your barbecue skewers in your foam board, if you use some of these in the foam board, you glue them in, it helps your barbecue skewers when you take a hard landing not to rip out of your foam board. So they make great, those, the leftover ones. The second thing you'll notice in these is your motor mount. You have an X mount for your motors. You can choose to use this or not. All of our motor mounts that come with our kits you don't necessarily need to use this, although you can. The next thing is you've got servos, all your servo parts. So in this kit, we have 4 of them. These are all your control horns and your servo screws. Each servo comes with 3 screws, actually 4 screws, nope, 3 screws. Each servo comes with 3 screws, 1 for the center to put the control horn on, and 2 for each side of the servo if you're screwing it into wood, or say you're building a balsa build. Typically, I gather up those screws and never use them unless I have a really small project. Your prop nut, or your what holds your prop on. You also get, in our kit, you get some XT60 connectors. And these XT60 connectors, you have to solder on our ESCs. This is the one way we keep the prices down for you and pass those savings on, is we do not pre-solder these in the factory when they're being made. Most batteries have a male on it, so you can use the female on your ESC, or if yours is backwards for some reason or opposite, you can go ahead and use it. But we provide both a male and female for you in your power kit. The next thing we provide is 3 little bullet connectors. We provide the other end of the bullet connector, or both of them, to you. So these will have to be soldered on your ESCs as well. Soldering is part of the hobby, guys. Sorry, it just is. So learn to solder. I can solder about like I weld, which is horrible. I learned to weld on the farm, and so that's about how I solder as well. So anyway, the next thing we include in our power kits is a prop saver. This is a little device that has 2 screws, and they go into the sides of this metal collar. And what that does is allows you to put this rubber band over your prop, and it allows you to, when you take a hard landing and you land on your prop, it allows the prop to literally bend backwards or move to absorb the impact so you don't break as many props. I hope this video has been insightful to you and given you an inside look inside our power kits and what comes with them. Again, guys, if you like this video and you like the content that we're producing, help us feed that YouTube algorithm. Subscribe, hit the like button, smash the notification bell, and leave us a comment. We love to hear from you guys. We want to hear from you guys. I hope you've enjoyed this short video on our power kits, the HRC power kits, whether it's for the Texan, the 7, the Vulture, the Wasp. We hope you've enjoyed it. We hope you enjoyed this video on our HRC power kits. I hope it's given you an inside look at what comes in our power kits so that you can be prepared for a successful flight. And we hope to see you on the flying field. See you guys.